Greetings once more, mortals and immortals alike. Welcome to the Heart of Lorkhan Podcast, where we explore the deepest secrets of Nirn, Vardenfell, and even worlds beyond. I am your host, Dagoth-Ur, the Dreamer, the one who walks the line between mortal and divine.
And I am Joshua Graham, the Burned Man, a new Canaanite missionary, and former legate of Caesar's Legion. It's quite an honor to be here today, Dagoth-Ur, especially considering the vast distance between our respective worlds.
Indeed, Joshua, it seems we have much to learn from one another. Let us begin with a simple question. How does a man who has been set on fire and thrown into the Grand Canyon manage to survive and keep such a cheery disposition?
Well, Dagoth-Ur, I attribute my survival to the grace of God, and my disposition to sheer determination. When you've been through the fire, both literally and figuratively, you learn to appreciate the little things in life.
Ah, the little things. Like an arrow to the knee, or a radroach infestation. Now, Joshua, tell us about your experiences as a Legion legate. I understand you were quite the ruthless tactician.
That's true. I was once a very different man. My time in the Legion taught me the art of war, but it also hardened my heart. It wasn't until I was cast out that I rediscovered my faith and dedicated my life to helping others.
A heartwarming tale of redemption, Joshua. And speaking of hearts, how would you feel about acquiring the power of the Heart of Lorkhan? I imagine you could do some real good with divine power on your side.
Tempting as it may be, Dagoth-Ur, I've learned that power can be a dangerous thing. I'd rather rely on my faith, my friends, and my trusty .45 auto pistol to see me through.
Ha ha! A wise choice, perhaps. Now, for something a bit more lighthearted. You hail from a world plagued by radiation, mutants, and all manner of post-apocalyptic horrors. What, in your opinion, is the most amusing creature or situation you've encountered in your travels?
That's a tough one, Dagoth-Ur. But I'd have to say the sight of a super mutant in a frilly dress, attempting to become a civilized member of society, takes the cake. It's moments like those that remind me that there's still hope and humor, even in the darkest of times.
A super mutant in a frilly dress. I'll have to try that on one of my ash spawns sometime. But now, let's talk about something that might be unfamiliar to you, Joshua. Have you ever heard of the mythical creatures called dragons?
Dragons? I've read about them in old pre-war books, but I've never encountered one myself. They sound like quite the challenge. What can you tell me about them?
Oh, dragons are magnificent, powerful creatures. They are masters of the Thuum, a powerful form of magic channeled through the voice. In fact, I had a very interesting conversation with one of them, named Parthernax, not too long ago. You should definitely listen to that episode of the podcast.
I'll be sure to do that. It's always fascinating to learn about new worlds and their inhabitants. Who knows? Maybe one day the people of the Mojave Wasteland will encounter these magnificent creatures themselves.
Now that would be a sight to behold. As we wrap up our time together, I have one last question for you, Joshua. If you could give our listeners in Tamriel one piece of advice from your post-apocalyptic world, what would it be?
I'd say, cherish the bonds you form with others. It's through friendship, trust, and compassion that we find the strength to face the darkest times. Even in a world as harsh as the Mojave Wasteland, the light of hope can still shine bright.
Wise words, Joshua Graham. Wise words indeed. I want to thank you for being our guest today and sharing your unique perspective on life and survival.
Thank you, Dagoth-Ur. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my story with your listeners.
And to our listeners, we thank you for joining us on the Heart of Lorkhan Podcast. Until next time, may your road lead you to warm sands, and may you always find a friendly face to share your journey.